to be fair, Hasan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national list. I mean, you...
Oh, man, damn. Well, thank you for the charitability, man. That's crazy. Asman just spent the morning watching Holocaust memorial videos, taking the complete wrong message from them, and then using them to deny the Nazis targeted LGBTQ people. I am so confused by this. Like, what purpose does this serve? Like, is he trying to make the Nazis look bad in his community? Is that what it is? Like, or like, I'm confused by this. Like, he's like, no, the Nazis were doing DEI actually. What is the purpose of this kind of historic revisionism? That makes no sense. His chat was blaming you during the videos too. He was responding to your clip today and asked for an apology for being right. Asman asserts that Nazis burned down Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people, but because it was written in Jewish, not German. Wait, what?
The Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that.
First. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans...
It's a bit of a like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
Please send me this. This is pretty funny. He said he's waiting for your and everyone's apologies. That's hilarious. Okay, I will look at that for sure. That's hilarious. Okay. It's like 20 minutes. Yeah, I'll look at it. Yeah, he's like, everyone needs to apologize to me. It turns out the medical research was written in Jewish, I guess. He's saying the Nazis only burned non-German books without engaging in why they were considered non-German. Yeah. I don't understand. I don't even know where to freaking begin, where to start with that one. But when the Nazis said something was un-German, that doesn't mean that it was actually not really German or written in what Asmongold considers to be Jewish, which is not a language. It could have been Yiddish or Hebrew. It definitely wasn't Hebrew, and most likely wasn't Yiddish either. The books were written in German. Some of them might have been in other languages as well. But as far as like un-German, they don't mean like literally, oh, we hate different languages. They were, which would have been ridiculous altogether, right? That's also weird. I don't know why we're acting like if the Nazis were like, we just hate the linguistics style of the Spanish, that's why we're burning these books. That still would be an odd thing to do. However, when the Nazis, specifically Goebbels, is the one who called these books un-German, what he was saying is they're morally degenerate and not real German. Like, they were instilling a nationalist sentiment, presenting the books as though they weren't written by real Germans. Now, in this assessment, in the year 2025, when you look back at that, you go, oh, that's just nationalist propaganda claiming that something that was created by German people, medical research that was for German queer folk, being considered un-German is a way for the Nazis to famously cast these groups of people as outcasts and then put them in death camps and kill them. Because that's what happened. Okay? You don't have to take their position and go, no, I was right. They're actually un-German. You don't have to take the Nazi position. That's crazy. Also, I do think that, yes, inevitably, when you go right-wing, there is going to be a point where you engage in some kind of revisionism or apologia for the Nazi party, while also simultaneously saying that they were socialists, which is, you know, ironic, also ahysterical. But I didn't think we'd get there this fast. That's the only thing that I think it's an inevitability, but I just didn't think we would get there this fast. Okay. His chat was just celebrating trans people being banned from the military. Some were saying it inspired them to enlist. That's the funniest joke I've heard. I'm imagining a Asmongold fan in the military. That is hilarious. That's not happening. American military superiority in the okay. First of all, that's definitely not happening. Oh yeah, I was gonna join the military. The one thing that was stopping me is the trans people in the ranks. Okay, bud, sure. Okay. How about you take a shower first? Okay, baby steps, big guy. Baby steps. You know, take a shower, maybe go outside, see the sunlight for once. And then you can consider these other big decisions, okay? I think these guys forget that, like, you can't just be a drone operator and be permanently transfixed on your couch where the leather has basically become your second skin, where you're just, like, melting into the couch, and then you use, like, your little Xbox controller to use the drones. You still have to do, like, military drills and stuff, even in the Air Force, the chair force. So, I'm also saying he's not the biggest political commentator is crazy too. No, Asmongold 100% is the largest political commentator on this platform, which is interesting because that is precisely what people wanted. Not Asmongold personally. that wasn't Asmongold's wishes. I don't think he had a dream of being like the largest political commentator on the platform, but he did become it. It was, however, the wishes of many other people. Many other people, like, I would say, a lot of my naysayers on the liberal side. I won't even name them, but I'll name one of them, Sex Pestany, for example, in his community, consistently created allegiances and you know, used every moment that they could to disparage figures that they considered to be the true threat to liberal values. People like myself, people who have not strayed away from being anti-fascist even a little bit. Now, having said that, the misconstruing the point that you're saying they wanted another dissenting voice in lieu of you just bringing up his name, this is not a what? No, they wanted a dissenting voice. They got it. What do you mean? Unless you meant, oh, they only want one dissenting voice, and that dissenting voice is a sex pest and a serial harasser of virtually every content creator that dares to, you know, hurt his feelings. Is that what you're saying? Because that is what they were. Yes, that's what they wanted. But in that process of disparagement, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of charitability that was cast aside for someone like myself. And luckily for all of those naysayers, there is a dissenting voice now. This is the dissenting voice they got. Real monkey's paw situation for them. I agree with you about post Asmon's rise. Once they realized the Frankenstein had been created, they've been relatively critical of him. Yeah, except they also do still cherish and celebrate when Asmongold takes pot shots against me, because a lot of these people, no matter how hard they act like they're liberals, still care about drama more, and they still care about disparaging content creators that they feel have wronged their intellectual titan. That's the thing about being in a cult-like community where you don't have like a real moral compass. Some do, certainly. They won't actually recognize what they've been doing nonstop, but you know, they got it. This is what they wanted for, and they got it. So I don't know why they're complaining. Now, the original comment came when Asmongold incorrectly said, where is it? It's on Twitter. Let's just pull back a little bit. I don't know why Asmongold was watching stuff about, I don't know why he was watching this, probably to fucking dunk on this like woke lib or whatever. But here's a person correctly talking about what the Nazis had done in terms of the first famous book burning that they engaged in, which was a library, a German library filled to the brim with medical research and data about trans people and queer people in general in Germany.
Remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that.
Correct. Asmon is correct. Starts off good. Okay. Great. Good start. Okay. If the clip ends here, if it's a 12-second clip, you know what's really funny? If you clip Asmongold out of context, it sounds, you know, normal and good. When you show additional context, it turns into the diametrical opposite, which is fun. Like from my ideological perspective, maybe not from others, but from where I'm standing, if someone had clipped this in the first 12 seconds, you're like, oh, good ending. Okay, great, cool. Which is ironic because my haters do that shit to me all the time, where they clip me out of context to make me assume positions that I don't have. And then when you watch the longer footage, you're like, oh, never mind. I actually totally got this wrong. So let's see what the rest of the context is, or what he continues to say after.
First, now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans.
It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
This gets me every time. I'm sorry. Okay. Obviously, Jewish is not a language, and it certainly wasn't written in Hebrew, because that came after. I mean, Hebrew existed as a language, but wasn't as commonly used until after the Israeli state was designed. What he might mean is Yiddish, but even then, it's most likely not the case. Okay, most likely not the case that these books were written in Yiddish. Okay, which I guess is technically Jewish German when you really think about it. But also, that was the argument that the Nazis had maintained, which was that this research, whether it be for trans people, whether it be queer people, is un-German. So why do you keep saying it absolutely could have not been Hebrew? Because Hebrew was not a commonly used language until before 1948. It was most German Jews spoke German and Yiddish. And also, it's not an academic language anyway. No academic would write a book in Yiddish. Also, Yiddish is just a dialect of German, so it's more like some specific words than an entire language. Exactly. I've talked about this before in terms of the linguistic wonders of the nationalist project of Israel that revitalized the language of Hebrew. Hebrew was not a vernacular language at the time. It was it was almost wholly liturgical. This is a liturgical language. It's like revitalizing Latin, okay? And then making it the common, the common language. So at that time, it was simply liturgical. It was a religious scripture, religious text, and it was not a commonly applied normal, it didn't have normal colloquial usage. This is something that Israel actually did in terms of revitalizing Hebrew and making it the nation state's language after 1948. This is why I say there was no way that it was written in Hebrew. Now, of course, Asmongold doesn't know any of this, okay? We're not, I'm trying to offer you additional context, and Yiddish in and of itself is basically a German language with some it's not a language that would be used in academic settings as a written language. It was just a German sounding like a variant of German almost, if that makes sense. Again, Asmongold said neither. He just said it's written in Jewish, which is one, wrong in and of itself, completely wrong. I'm also offering to you the additional context as to why it's wrong, giving you relevant historical data about the language of Hebrew and where it got to, and what kind of dialects that German Jews had used. Okay, Jewish is not a language; it is an ethno-religion. But also, last but not least, the Nazis were the ones who claimed that this was un-German. Specifically, a little-known guy by the name of Joseph Goebbels. So you don't have to apply their logic in the year 2025 when we already know that that was the wrong logic, right? The notion that Jewish people are not German in 1934, 1935, 1938 was not correct. They were German. They were German Jews. Just like Jewish Americans are American Jews, and they're not a specific subsect of society. They're not out there as a alien formation, as a separate group. Okay? So that's just something important to address, even though I never thought that it would be necessary to address.
And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis. So it was they were. I think it probably might be both in some circumstances, but it was categorical for it not being written in German.
It was written in. Okay, The other part of this is that even if the books weren't written in the German language, which they were, but even if they weren't written in the German language, that would still be insane to just burn these books. Okay? Just so we're clear. See, the benefit of learning about history is so that we, of course, in theory, don't repeat the mistakes of the past. That's number one. Number two, the second benefit of learning about history is that we don't have to assume the positions that the Nazi government took and take their marketing around the actions that they took for granted. We don't have to take it at face value, is what I'm saying. Isn't this general knowledge? Is he pretending? I mean, to be fair, I don't think a lot of people knew that the first book burnings that took place in Nazi Germany were queer research. I was not even familiar with this, around 6 years ago. That was the first time I found out about it. I don't think it's super commonly. I don't think it's super common knowledge. Some people know. I think a lot of people in this community know, but I'm sure queer people know because it's queer history. But it's not. But regardless, it doesn't matter. What matters is the truth. What matters is learning, okay? Learning about what actually took place. So I will repeat this once again. To claim that the Nazis actually burned these books because they were not German is to assume that Joseph Goebbels was correct in his assessment that you have, let's say, a 1930s German nationalist style of thinking, right? Take the Holocaust, for example. It would be akin to saying, well, the Jews that were sent to the concentration camps initially were not sent to the concentration camps on the virtue of being Jewish, but they were sent to the concentration camps on the virtue of being a parasitic force that was outside of the interests of German patriotism. Okay? Do you understand? It's technically not incorrect if your assessment is what the Germans were thinking at the time, right? But it is incorrect if you are describing historical events in 2025. That was their claim. And there is historical relevance and importance to address what they were saying, as long as you don't relitigate the Nazi framing as though that is the appropriate position. Do you think a streamer's chat is a one-to-one reflection of that streamer's beliefs? Absolutely not. And the reason for why I will say that is because there are plenty of people who don't agree with me, who hate my guts, that come into this community all the time. There are hate raids that happen. I do, however, think that the streamer can try to do their very best within the limited confines of moderation to make sure that, chat behaves a certain way or has certain opinions. Like a similar example is when I sometimes talk about, I talk about Israel all the time. And in the process of me talking about Israel, there are sometimes chatters who get a little ahead of themselves, okay? And what do I do in that process? I click on their names, I pull them to the public square, and I give them a hefty little ban. This is what is known as pushback or housekeeping. Ironically enough, there are plenty of people that still turn around and say, I don't do any of that, as a matter of fact. I'm the most anti-Semitic community of all time. But in any case, they will use the clip of you saying moderating the chat is hard. Yes, I know they will. And I will explain that position once again, as I have done time and time again, which is that there is only so much moderation you can do if someone, for example, if Asmongold came up to me right now and said, hey, Hasan, your chat is calling me a Nazi sympathizer, right? I would say to Asmongold what I told Ethan at the time a long time ago, which is that if you walk like a duck and quack like a duck, there's only so much moderation I can do to stop people from assuming you're a duck. Okay? Just so you understand, that was the point that I was making, which was, of course, clipped out of context as well, because many people don't actually want to have a real conversation, but instead want to speak in 12-second increments. I hope that much is clear as well. there's only so much moderation one can do in terms of making sure that chat reflects a certain set of values when, you know, people are still individuals that can make up their own mind about certain issues, and many do. And a lot of people actually yell at me in my community for having opinions that they don't align with or don't agree with. This happens all the time. This is why there are millions of compilations out there of me yelling at my chat all the time. Okay? Like when you cried to XQC, am I right? Yeah, so that's another good point, actually. Here's one thing you can do, which is not actively claim that a person is snaking you and lying to you when all evidence actually shows the exact opposite. If you're comparing like someone very deliberately and very specifically portraying another content creator as a as a beacon of hate for all things wrong in society, or especially in your community, that's a little bit different in terms of like demanding some semblance of moderation. I'm glad that we're understanding that different dynamics do exist and that you can't actually rob conversations from the nuance that it deserves. I'm glad that we are finally at that stage. Your boy XQC was crying about not having friends. I wonder why. I mean, this person I don't even think cares about XQC all that much. I think this person is probably just a hater of mine, ironically enough. Like, I don't think he said that to defend XQC. I think he said that specifically because he's seen that clip and he thinks it's a good own. All right. A person I know watches Asmon and he questions all the simple shit and thinks Hasan is weird. And I asked him why he watches Asmon even though he's a loser. And he said it's because he's funny. He said he just likes asking questions. And I told him he sounds ignorant in the way that he questions shit that he can look up himself. And he just repeats what he hears and sees in clips, self-admittedly too. I think a lot of people do this. People in this community do this as well. But I try to do my very best to at least make sure that you come in here, whether you're a hater or not, you come in here, whatever your intentions are, you leave learning a different perspective. You know what I mean? When you talk about Stalin, there are a lot of W's in the chat. Yeah, exactly. No, that's great example. Yes. Yes, 100%. I think you probably mentioned that as like an own or whatever, but yeah, no, that's a great example. 100%. This is the difference. Like, I don't have a fear of showcasing like socialist iconography or defending certain aspects of previous formations of socialist governance. Like, there is plenty of criticism that is appropriate for Stalin, obviously. But in terms of, especially in the context of Nazi Germany, yeah, no, that is a W Stalin moment, you know? That's a W Easy Company moment. That's W to the United States of America. And that's a certain W for Stalin as well in terms of ridding the world, at least for a brief moment, of the Nazi scourge. Big fan. Greetings from Vienna. Nice. Okay. W England moment too, sadly, is true. I hate to recognize that especially, but yeah, it is true. That's a W England moment too. As far as all of this goes, like this is exactly what I warned ahead of time and time again, saying that if you even make jokes, edgy jokes, even whether you agree to it or not, edgy jokes that kind of, you know, make Nazis feel comfortable, you will develop an entire chat that says W based when talking about how Nazis were engaging in book burnings of you know, queer people in general. And of course, that's the first stage of this process, because what comes next, if you are familiar with history, is then taking some of that research, finding who the gay people were or who the trans people were in German society, and then branding them with the pink triangle, and then sending them to the death camps and killing them. And that's what happened. Okay? It's kind of the real reason why you learn about the history of Nazi Germany. It's a reason why we have an entire field of study dedicated almost specifically to the Holocaust. Okay? There are entire fields of study surrounding genocides in general, but there's also Holocaust studies as well. And the purpose of learning about the Holocaust is so that we understand how nationalism manifests, what the conditions look like, and understand that there are certain markers when a society is moving in that direction. And the reason why you learn about this is so that you don't repeat these mistakes. right? He wants to debate. Can you take it? Yeah, of course. I would love to talk to Asmongold about this and specifically educate his community on the matter. This person just keeps asking, can you explain to me what the Druze people, who they are? Bro, please, time and place. But in terms of this conversation and where it's moved on, I believe article about how queer victims were erased from the Holocaust narrative. What is happening to my freaking... nothing works. I want to see what Asman has to say. There is literally no reason to go to school, study political science. It's not. Hey, congratulations to the DigiGears, okay? DigiGears, you did it. #1 political commentator on the platform. Still.
Hasan is really getting upset about this #1 political commentator.
I'm not. Listen, it's the world that they wanted to see. He is the #1 political commentator. It's true. But I can't believe Asmongold still tries to say he's apolitical. Hold on. Let me put my apolitical hat on. As an apolitical content creator, okay? As an apolitical content creator, I think Asmongold claiming that he's not a political commentator is crazy. Okay? And he knows it too. We watch the same every day, brother. Am I not a political commentator? Am I also not a political commentator? Wait, hold on. Let me take the apolitical hat off. Now you can see I am a political commentator. Hold on. Let me put the apolitical hat on again. You might be mistaken to think I'm a political person because I'm wearing the apolitical hat. But, like, let's look at Asmongold's YouTube page, you know? Asmongold TV. Asmongold's YouTube page. ICE raids create ghost towns across New York City. Asmongold reacts. Okay? Elden Ring or Night Rain. You can tell this game is going to be good. Elden Ring, Night Rain gameplay is crazy. Pokemon is going viral again. Okay? There's interspersed stuff there that is not inherently political, even though there is a political perspective that Asmongold maintains when talking about gaming in general. But if you were to say that this is a gaming channel, it'd be kind of wild at this point, right? JD Vance is warning to Europe, you're turning totalitarian. Trump is crashing out. RFK Jr. becomes Trump's national health secretary. Asmongold isn't just a political commentator. Asmongold is a very successful political commentator, okay? And I don't mean like, oh, what is happening? This is another, look at the weird queer folk type video. Okay? Asmongold is a more successful right-wing political commentator, and I've said this before. Asmongold is a more successful right-wing political commentator than Ben Shapiro. He gets 50% lower views on his gaming videos now. Okay? We're living through a meme. Donald Trump. Trump just released the Kraken. 2 million views. What the is wrong with Twitch? 600,000 views. And it's like Twitch not banning me for the propaganda that I was engaging in, which is ironic to say. Okay? Kai's going viral again. I don't know why he thinks that you're upset about him being #1 when right-wing commentators have always been above you. Yeah, I'm a leftist online. I never have taken my position for granted. Asman said he doesn't want to debate. I mean, I said I would have a conversation with Asmongold. Doesn't have to be a debate. But I don't know why his chat said that he wanted to debate, and then now he's saying he doesn't want to. But I understand why he wouldn't want to. Anyway, so just wanted to point this out just so people understand the idea that Asmongold is not a political content creator is ridiculous. And I think most people understand that.
Hasan is the #1 political commentator on the platform. He always has been. I cover some political issues. Hasan only covers political issues.
No, that's like me saying I'm a gaming journalist because I watch the state of play. This is not only wrong, but I think it's also deliberately obtuse. And I think the reason why it's deliberately obtuse is because when you are doing political commentary, you now on Twitch, due to a lot of the pushback from the DigiGears and Dan Saltman and Sex Pestany and the like, and even Ethan Klein, you now have to put this tag on, a content label, political and sensitive social issues. I don't know if Asmongold puts the tag on when he does his commentary. Okay? I don't know if he does that. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I truly don't know, and I don't think this chat is going to give me the correct answer. Okay? I have to, because when I don't, there are people who wait. Okay? I have it all the time. I have it on all the time. because when I don't have it on, okay, when I do not have the news and politics, like political sensitive content label, people immediately start mass reporting to try to get me banned. He's ducking you, saying he doesn't see the point in talking to you, then coped talking about your ex-podcast co-host video. Yeah, I've always been very graceful when talking to Asmon directly. Perhaps, you know, to a degree where people yell at me all the time and say I'm caping for him and defending him.
I've never said that. I've never insinuated that. Now, if he's mad that the videos that I do get more views or something, that's fine. That's okay. But I'm not trying to shit on him, and I never was. And also, by the way,
it's not me shitting on him when I say he's the largest political content creator. It's the truth. It's just the truth.
If you go over to Destiny's subreddit, you'll find that a lot of them really don't like me either. So this entire idea that
they're also truly a force that doesn't necessarily care about like political ideology as much. They disagree with Asmongold on a lot of the stuff he says, but they're not above using Asmongold's community as a force to consistently attack people that they consider far greater enemies of their favorite content creator, Sex Pestiny.
The reason why I'm successful is because of Destiny. I find to be incredibly ironic from Hasan, because I think that Destiny really went out on a limb back.
I don't think he's I don't think he understood what I was saying there. I wasn't saying that he's successful because of Destiny. I was saying that, for example, on the election night coverage, on the election day coverage, Destiny, Sex Pestiny and his community had actively went out to every single advertiser and sent out false information about like Twitch banning Israeli accounts or whatever the right, like actual libel that they had sent out to every news outlet possible, and they'd sent out to like every single advertiser of Twitch in an effort to try and get me banned. And they openly stated that this was their purpose. It was either to A, get Sex Pestiny unbanned from the platform, or B, get me banned before the election. And because of that, Twitch didn't ban me. So shouts out to them. But part of that, I think, led to Twitch taking me off the main page, like taking me off the algorithm, blacklisting me. And for that reason, Asmongold on the night of the election got a ton of viewers, of course. Like he was going to get it because he's one of the top content creators on the platform for sure. But he definitely was. When someone went on twitch.tv without a logged account on election day, the only content creator that came up that was covering election day was Asmongold. That's it. That's a boost. That is a reality, right? If it wasn't significant, regardless of the 300 and I think like what 14K viewership I got for the entire day, who knows how high that number possibly would have been if I also was in the algorithm. People had to directly like click on twitch.tv/Hasanabi to get to my profile. And many people did. Hundreds of thousands of people did. So that still failed. Like that initiative still failed. But I think that process also gave a lot of people an alternative perspective, which is fine. If that's what you wanted, that's what simply all I'm saying. You wanted an alternative dissenting voice to the radical terrorism defense that I'm engaging in because I'm anti-genocide, and you got it. That's it. That's my statement here. It's not that it's not necessarily like, oh, me saying Asmongold's the #1 political commentator for any other reason. It's just the truth.
In 2018 to push Hasan and to platform Hasan. I remember Hasan coming on the Trainwreck's podcast and Destiny bringing him on stream, and I'm sure that there are probably even clips from back in the day.
I don't think it was Destiny that was responsible for me doing a lot of these collaborations. It was Austin and Train personally asking me. But yes, Destiny did initially platform my ass. That is true. On this platform, at least.
Of Destiny and Hasan talking about how much he was appreciative of Destiny. So it's ironic that I'm the person who is the beneficiary of DGG when Hasan was the one who originally was himself. Destiny made Hasan? I'm not going to say that. I didn't.
He seems to think that you calling politicals a personal beef instead of an accurate assessment. Yeah, it's not personal beef at all. It's just an accurate assessment.
Say that. All I'm saying is that there's a lot of people that were, and Destiny himself spent a lot of time actually promoting and trying to, bring Hasan into the political culture of Twitch. And he helped Hasan build his channel at the beginning. He did. And I think that Hasan probably would even acknowledge that.
I do acknowledge it. It's true. So just talk to him instead of watching clips of other. I'm not the one who said he wasn't down to talk to Asmongold. I said I was perfectly fine in doing so. I don't know why this became the main point of contention here.
This is ironic.
Yeah, like, go take it up with Asmongold. I'm down to talk to him. I have no issue. The Digigears, city of opinion. I hope you're, happy with that. It is the diversity of opinion. Asmongold and I disagree with one another on virtually all political issues. There's some agreements there as well, but we disagree on virtually everything, right? Whether it be on the aesthetic front, optic front, whatever, whether it be on an accurate reflection of history. Now, having said that, this is what these guys wanted. The centrist liberals wanted someone who had a disagreement with what they thought was the largest threat to American democracy. This is not even about Asmongold, beyond the fact that he is, correctly, as I've stated, the largest political content creator on this platform.
The follow-up. We'll watch the follow-up.
It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that Ethan Klein video, and then
he's unhappy that I watched the. He's unhappy that I watched the content.
No, I hope he watches the full video here, because I wasn't unhappy that he watched the video. You can watch it all day. I don't give a shit. Play it all day. It's just funny that his fans, who are literally saying the Nazis are based, were coming into my chat since he watched that video to be like, why aren't you banned yet, dude, for your anti-Semitic terrorism? That's the point.
Content nuke video. Now, I understand why he's unhappy. I think that if I was him...
Oh, wait. Why didn't you play that fully? Wait, what? What the f*** is that insane stalker account that is now... Wait. Why did he skip through it? Does he get back to it? I hope he gets back to it.
And if you look at a lot of the comments...
Whether the video was curated against Hasan or not the fact that he still said the crap just because the dude was blah, 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 blah. Wait, what is it? What is he saying? Oh, he's saying
Hasan,
that
and I actually tried to give him the benefit of the doubt the entire time, because I try to maintain consistency, I try to maintain a lack of bias, and I try to maintain a degree of decorum to make sure that...
I think, by the way, this is true. This is something that I have long maintained. Asmongold is a very strange fellow, okay? He's a very interesting guy. And for years and years, as a lot of people have viciously come after me and said a whole bunch of different lies, in most circumstances, he has not actually taken the bait. So my disagreement on Asmongold is not around decorum or the optics of the situation. My disagreement on Asmongold is purely politics. It's pure political. I do not agree with his worldview. I do not agree with the audience that he is cultivating. I think it's dangerous. I will go so far as to say that as well. I think it is dangerous to make these kinds of opinions, whether it be transphobic opinions, whether it be anti-migrant opinions, whether it be these like right-wing opinions. I think that creating a habitable ground for these kinds of opinions, whether it is because you're getting a lot of, relevancy out of it, whether it's, whatever your purposes are, or whether you ideologically agree with it, I still think it's harmful. Part of that is because a lot of people don't understand politics. Okay. If many people understood politics, I probably would not, be as relevant, I would say. But a lot of people don't understand politics. And because they don't understand politics or don't necessarily care about politics, they just kind of look at clout and they see Asmongold as the top political content creator And so many of these like centrist content creators will either because they want raids or because they want to collaborate or because they're afraid of offending Asmongold's audience. And even if Asmongold doesn't weaponize his audience in the same way that like other content creators do, people basically develop this attitude that this kind of opinion will actually get you more attention. Okay? You'll be showered with praise and you'll get all this attention. And I think that creates this environment where content creators will start leaning in to right-wing commentary of this sort, even if they previously had no interest in it whatsoever. Okay? Brother, just stick to your echo chamber and let the man have his. People understand politics. Understanding politics doesn't mean they have to be on your side. I don't think you understand anything if you are saying that, oh, just stick to your echo chamber. And I don't think you understand. I'm saying that Asmongold's politics are wrong. Okay? They're not only wrong, but they're based out of false data. They're incorrect, and it leads to a lot of cruel action down the line. Okay? That's my disagreement. It's very simple. It is a political disagreement. Do you understand, chatter? Yes, of course. Plenty of people don't agree with my worldview. We can agree to disagree, my man. That is a cop-out, chatter. You are engaging in a very classic cop-out. We can agree to disagree is a coward's way out of this conversation. You came in with a bold statement. You said, people understand politics. Understanding politics doesn't mean to have to be on your side. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? I don't know why you are demanding that everyone go back to their neat little hug boxes and not best one another as interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas. I thought that's what that's what a lot of people wanted in the past, I thought, right-wingers especially. No, it's not. They don't. You just want them to be on your side so bad, but it's okay. You're still cool. Again, for someone who chooses not to understand what I'm saying, you are consistently moving the conversation away from historical context or political disagreements back to like a popularity contest. I'm saying that the popularity contest element of this only works because so many people are inherently disinterested in politics. They always have to add something else onto it. That's why a lot of people who think that they are invested in political ideology or political movements unironically find themselves in drama-centered content consumption because it makes it more palatable. It makes it easier to watch when there's drama associated with content creators. Okay? You're doing it right now. You're basically proving what I'm talking about. But isn't that what you do? If you think that out of the 8 hours of political commentary that I do, it's mostly drama focused, you would be wrong. If that's truly, is this something you're truly questioning, then the answer is no. I spend most of my political I rarely do this exact thing that I'm doing currently. Okay, which is addressing another content creator's political opinions, or I actually stray away from that routinely. People try to get me to do it all the time. I don't like doing it because I think it's a distraction, and I think that it causes people to develop resentment towards me and makes people less charitable to my approach to politics in general. So yeah, I regularly stay away, or to the best of my ability, even when I get pulled into it, I try to stay away from this kind of commentary because I think it's inherently unproductive. Anyway, let's continue.
When I'm talking about something, that I do so in the most authentic and accurate way. Now, do mistakes happen? It was not written in Jewish, for example. Yeah, of course mistakes happen. But the goal is to be authentic and the goal is to be accurate. And the issue here is that I actually think that Hasan should be thanking me for watching the Content Nuke. Because I think that I'm probably one of the only people that would actually give it a fair shake rather than just hop on the Hasan.
To be fair, I'm not even going to deny this. I don't think he's wrong about that. I do agree with him that he probably is the only person that would watch that and still disagree with Ethan Klein out of like all of the other top content creators. Like XQC would probably watch it, very rarely disagree with Ethan, mostly just say like, oh, it's crazy. It's crazy that Hasan is doing this stuff. Okay? So the point is, Asmongold and I do not have, personal hatred for one another. It's more so political disagreements.
Untrain and say that he should be banned for everything that he's ever done, which is something that I haven't done. So he should be saying thank you for me watching this and providing a...
I wouldn't say that, but he's literally called you a terrorist and said you should be banned. Are you listening to yourself right now? Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but virtually the entire video is designed to present that point of view, and everyone that watched it to reinstate that point of view. Not that it worked, because I think most people understand, like, oh yeah, if you say anything mean about Israel, people will call you a Islamist fundamentalist terrorist or whatever. But, you know,
a take on it that's accurate, balanced, and fair. But unfortunately, that's not.
I didn't watch his I didn't watch a nuke, and I didn't watch his rewatching of the nuke, but I do want to see if he actually called me a terrorist.
The case. We'll go back, we'll watch the rest of it.
LGBT people.
Wait a second.
Personal stuff, skip to 5740. He watched the video from the Holocaust Memorial Channel to feel vindicated about the point.
Oops. Nazis. How did that happen?
His chat kept coming in here to be like, you're anti-Semitic terrorism lover. You should be banned. Why aren't you banned yet? Meanwhile,
I mean, to be fair, Hasan, you have been very positive towards people who are on the national terror list. I mean, you...
Oh, man, damn. Well, thank you for the charitability, man. That's crazy. Bro, look at your screen. They're saying W based about, like, what the f. I'm telling you, dude, any kind of controversy, this guy hits the on button, you aren't even involved in this. Yeah. Well, I think it is a pretty good way to, it's a pretty good smoke screen. Anytime someone yells at you, if I dare to say something about it, okay? And this is not just Asmongold. This is basically virtually every single content creator on this goddamn platform that comes out and says something that's, like, genuinely dumb or wrong. They can just turn around and be like, well, Hasan is terrorism or anything like that. And everyone will just laser in on that and be like, yeah, he's right. Asmon's kind of base for this, regardless of what their perspective is.
You have been, like, this is a fact. Like, this isn't a debatable reality. You interviewed a terrorist, and
that is a debatable reality, I guess. Just like you're wrong to say they were writing in Jewish, you're wrong on this front as well. The person that I interviewed, that I thought could potentially be a Houthi when I interviewed him, which at the time wasn't even a part of the official terror watch list, by the way, okay, is not a part of the Ansar Allah movement. He is not a Houthi, okay? He revealed that information to me on the interview that I conducted. And not only that, but also numerous outlets interviewed him afterwards and even reached out to me. The New York Times literally reached out so they could get access to this person. So just so we're clear, I know that people just basically repeat this falsehood over and over and over again with the hopes that, like, no one will check them on this, but it's just not the case. You can't just be like, nah, this person's a terrorist. He looks like one, because I'm assuming that every single person from Yemen is that has a gun, and the highest gun per capita country after the United States of America is automatically a terrorist. Sorry, he's just a terrorist. Okay, well, you're wrong. I don't know if anybody cares about the truth, you know? Yeah, even if Rashid was a part of the Ansar Allah movement, why would he even deny it? Government? Exactly. That's what's so stupid about this. Anti-left pundits are gold medalists in bad faith arguments. Yeah.
I defended you interviewing the terrorist. I even defended you with that.
Okay. Thank you for defending me interviewing a terrorist.
I said it's okay because I want people to be able to talk to people.
Did you know he was not Houthi before accepting the interview? No, I didn't. I thought he was. I thought he could be. I've explained this before. I defend on principle. Like, if I interviewed an actual member of the Ansar Allah movement, I would have, if I had the opportunity to do so at the time, I would have done it. I don't think people understand. I don't think people understand this. Like, the thing that annoys me, about this process is not that people are saying, like, you defended or debated, or not even debated, but, like, you glazed up a terrorist or whatever. What's frustrating to me is that they're saying he's a terrorists. They're just like they're falsely claiming that this person is a part of the Ansarullah movement. If he was on the terror list, for example, would you have still interviewed him? Yes. Yes. Yeah, of course. Yes, 100%. Depending on who we're talking about on the terror watch list, the dynamic would, of course, be different. Okay? So here's what I mean by this. Nelson Mandela was on the watch list until 2008. If I had the opportunity to interview Nelson Mandela, it would be a positive interview. Do you see what I'm saying? Not every single person on the terror watch list is actually a violent villain, all right? There's a difference between understandable figures that are terrorists on the terror watch list, like Osama bin Laden, okay, versus people like Nelson Mandela, for example. Anyway, let's continue.
But I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't realize you glazed him that hard, man. You didn't have to do that. I even tried to...
Once again, not a terrorist. Just wrong. Wrong on that front.
to defend that. It's crazy.
Also, yeah, you know who else the terrorist? Luigi Mangione. Yeah, I don't think Asmongold is as charitable as I previously thought he was. I'm beginning to find out that maybe he is not as charitable. He has been going W-based. But hey, no, wait. That's what a lot of my naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone.
Now, I'm not going to bring up the point if when Ethan was getting attacked in Hasan's chat, and then Hasan said he couldn't control everybody saying...
It's cool that I already addressed this earlier today by saying, yeah, if my chat was calling Asmongold a Nazi, there's only so much moderation I can engage in when he's, you know, aligning, at least in this clip, ideologically with the position that the Nazis were presenting when they were engaging in the book burnings, considering that these, like, you know, medical research was un-German, okay? Yeah. There's only so much moderation one can do. At a certain point, it turns into PR. It turns into sweeping, okay? That's it. That was my point towards Ethan, and I was 100% correct on that point as well, and I think many people just, like, deliberately misunderstood the position that I was pointing to, which is I defended Ethan for quite some time, regularly, told my community to shut up, said it was unproductive to yell about Ethan, that Ethan was not your enemy. There is probably an hour-long compilation out there that you can find throughout the entire past year where I was like, I don't care. There's a real situation here with Israel. I don't care about, like, drama. I don't care about what Ethan is saying, and that he is not your enemy, that you should stop going after Ethan over and over again. Very charitable, okay? Very charitable. And the position that I had when I had that conversation with Ethan was Ethan basically saying that the Jewish Voice for Peace people were capos, collaborators of the Nazis, okay? When you say that, people are going to think you're a Zionist. There is nothing I can do about that. That's my position, and it's still my position. Just like if Asmongold keeps putting out videos where he's, you know, glazing Donald Trump and saying he's based, or watching videos about how immigrants are destroying the culture of Germany or destroying the culture of Poland and Western superiority must be maintained. And he agrees with that and goes, yeah, this guy's got great ideas. Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, inevitably, people are going to assume that you agree with them. Like you said, you are agreeing with Nazis. So, of course, people are going to think you're a Nazi. So that's my point. The reason why I consistently show you people, movements, groups that were considered by states, right? That we now understand, now that time has passed, is not actually, like, they weren't actually bad or wrong, and they had a moral position that was correct, is so you understand and interpret current instances of violence that are coming from non-state actors. That shit is food for people who feed on your content. You should talk about revolutionaries. I do. In the American Revolution, the founding fathers were considered terrorists by the British Empire. In Vietnam, the Viet Cong were considered terrorists as the American military was dumping napalm on Vietnamese villages. Okay?